Psychology says the silent treatment is not immaturity. In the hands of the right person, it is one of the most precise and most devastating weapons in emotional manipulation. They are not saying anything. They do not have to. The silence is already saying everything it needs to say. It is telling you that you are not worth a response, that your feelings do not deserve acknowledgement, that the connection you depend on can be switched off without warning and restored only on their terms. And the most terrifying part is how effectively it works. Not because silence is inherently powerful, but because of what silence does to a nervous system that is attached to the person delivering it. Psychologists who study emotional manipulation found that the silent treatment is not simply conflict avoidance or emotional immaturity. In the hands of someone who uses it deliberately, it is something far more calculated. It is the weaponization of your need for connection. Because for the silent treatment to produce its intended effect, one condition must be present. You must care about the person using it. The silence only works as a weapon if the withdrawal of their presence and their responsiveness genuinely costs you something. And in a relationship where that cost exists, the silent treatment does not just feel uncomfortable. It activates your nervous system at a biological level. Human beings are wired for social connection, the need to belong, to be seen, to be responded to by the people we are attached to, is not a preference. It is a survival mechanism hardwired into the oldest parts of the brain. When that connection is suddenly and unexplainably withdrawn, the brain does not register it as a social inconvenience. It registers it as a threat. The same alarm system that responds to physical danger activates in response to social rejection. The anxiety is not rational, it is biological, and it produces a specific and predictable behavioral response. You will do almost anything to end the silence. Here is what that looks like in practice. You apologize for things you did not do. You abandon positions you were right to hold. You minimize your own legitimate grievances to restore a connection that should never have been withdrawn in the first place. And the person using the silent treatment receives exactly what they came for. Not reconciliation, not resolution, control. Because the silent treatment was never about the conflict that preceded it. It was about establishing something much more significant. That their withdrawal is the most powerful thing in the relationship. That your need for their responsiveness is greater than your commitment to your own boundaries. That if they apply enough silence, you will eventually produce whatever behavioral change they were seeking without them ever having to ask for it directly or justify why they wanted it. Dr. Kipling Williams, who has spent decades researching the psychological effects of ostracism, found that being ignored by someone significant activates the same region of the brain as physical pain. This is not metaphorical. The neural pathways that process social rejection and the neural pathways that process physical injury overlap in ways that make the experience of being silenced by someone you love genuinely and measurably painful. You are not being too sensitive when the silent treatment destroys you. You are having a neurologically accurate response to something your brain is correctly identifying as harm. Here's the distinction most people miss. There is a difference between someone who needs space to process and someone who uses silence as punishment. A person who needs space tells you they need it. They give you a time frame. They return when they said they would. And when they return, they engage with the original issue rather than expecting you to have abandoned it. A person using silence as punishment disappears without explanation, maintains the silence until you have sufficiently demonstrated distress, returns when your behavior has changed in the direction they wanted, and never addresses the original issue because the original issue was never the point. One is a communication style, the other is emotional control. And the difference between them is the most important thing you will ever learn to identify in a relationship. Here is what you need to know about responding to the silent treatment. Chasing the silence feeds it. Every message you send unanswered, every apology offered without cause, every attempt to restore the connection at the cost of your own dignity teaches the person delivering the silence that it works. And what works gets repeated. The most powerful response to deliberate silence is not counter-silence. It is not anger. It is not the desperate pursuit that the silence was designed to produce. It is stillness, not the cold, calculated stillness of someone playing a game. The genuine stillness of someone who has decided that their peace is not available for someone else to switch off and on at will. That stillness is not easy. Your nervous system will fight it. The biological need for connection will push you toward the phone, toward the apology, toward whatever it takes to end the discomfort. But every time you choose stillness over pursuit, you teach your nervous system something the silent treatment was designed to prevent you from learning, that you can survive their absence. And a person who can survive your absence cannot be controlled by the threat of it. Drop it in the comments if the silent treatment has ever made you apologize for something you did not do. Because the most important thing you can understand about silence used as a weapon is that it only works for as long as you cannot imagine living without the person wielding it.